is simpler for the public. And one of the reasons is that what you can see here is those first 5 quintiles, sorry, deciles, first 5 deciles, there's no difference in their relative risk. All right? It's only starting to increase around this point here in the middle. So people don't need to aim for the lowest glycemic load possible. The lowest glycemic load possible is an Atkins diet. So if you tell people to follow a low glycemic load diet, you run the risk that they look up tables and they find that bacon and cream and cheese and everything else has a glycemic load of 0. All right? You're giving them a permission, basically, to follow a diet which is probably going to give them a heart attack. All right. Glycemic load, this is a very recent study, 2010. It was March. It's a very large cohort, 32,000 women from Italy. And they've divided them up into quartiles of glycemic load and 8 years of follow-up. And the reason I show it to you is because this group did something the Harvard group haven't done. They actually analysed the glycemic index of the foods in Italy. They didn't guess. Americans are often guessing the glycemic index of their foods because they haven't got someone testing for them most of the time. So they guess and they extrapolate and they impute, and it's probably not bad, but this is more precise. And you can see there's a 2.2-fold increased risk of cardiovascular disease in the highest quartile of glycemic load. All right, I'm getting towards the end if you're getting tired. What about weight control? And this is what preoccupies most people most of the time. It's the rate of weight loss, and it's also about prevention of weight regain. And I'll just make a point of saying that most of the obesity experts have now acknowledged that, you know, rate of weight loss is not the best gauge of the best diet. Rate of weight loss, you know, people can lose weight very quickly, but they might put it back on very quickly because they've lost a lot of their lean body tissue, their muscle mass. And the rate of weight loss might have more to do with motivation and you know, basically anyone can lose weight on any diet, all right? The challenge is to prevent weight regain, weight loss maintenance. And that's where the research has shifted and where we need the best, longest studies to look at weight regain. And I'm going to show you one of them shortly. Okay, this is one of David Ludwig's study. Kara Eberling is a dietitian, and she leads most of these studies. And they looked at 18 months, so it's nice and long. There was 6 months first of active weight loss, followed by 12 months of just weight maintenance. And they saw the dietitian very frequently. They randomized them to 2 sorts of diets. One was a low glycemic load diet, but it's not an Atkins diet. It's a low glycemic index diet. It has a little bit more protein and a little bit more fat than a normal diet, but very, you know, it's still a very typical and palatable diet. And this is the low-fat, conventional low-fat diet. They both had the same protein content. And what you can see is if you look at all 73 subjects, there's no significant difference between the 2 diets. No, not in the rate of weight loss or in weight maintenance. But they had a hypothesis right at the beginning of the study that it was those subjects who had at baseline a very high 30-minute insulin response during a glucose tolerance test. They said that those people were the ones that would probably benefit most from lowering the glycemic load of their diet. Does that make sense? Because, not because they were probably more insulin resistant, but because they were capable of secreting high amounts of insulin. All right? So we can't just conclude that these are the most insulin resistant. They're the ones with enough beta cell function to be able to produce a very high insulin response. And there you can see that the difference is really stark. That on the low glycemic load diet, they lost weight really fast, and they much faster, and that they maintain that weight loss over 12 months. That's a pretty fabulous result. And it also, perhaps it resolves some of the controversy that perhaps some people are more prone or more likely to